This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the first episode of The Last of Us on HBO. Plus, studios can get sued over deceptive trailers. The Flash gets a slap on the wrist. And we react to the new Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. All that and more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, January 16th, 2023.
This is Norm MacDonald, and you're listening to the, hang on, I got it here. It says, the Jock and Nerd Podcast, known for their series of gay erotica found on Amazon, No? That's not that? Oh. Well, I fucked that up, I guess.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Shocking, we heard it. We funny, disturbing. We shocking, we heard it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah.
What's up, listener? How's it hanging? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's a nerd.
And, well, listener, there is a fungus among us. Joining us, he's a real fun guy. Got a lot of mushroom jokes. It's really Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I have a mushroom head. Guess where?
Oh, is it poking out or poking in?
A little both.
These are dead mushroom psilocybin jokes. But Ruggs, you would be the one out of the three of us to survive a zombie fungus, I think, since
I'm covered in fungus.
I
don't know why.
To protect you.
I'm just gonna slather some Lamisil on me or whatever, Lotrimin, whatever the antifungal that you can get me. Listen, after I saw this fucking show, I was like, I need to get like a lot of antifungal.
Let me get some ointments. Yeah, definitely sent me to CVS looking for ointments.
Just peroxide everywhere.
Anthony, I think you'd survive a good time in a zombie fungus infection outbreak.
I'd survive as in a long time.
Yeah. I would be first to go right away.
Yeah,
easily.
You're dead. You're dead. You don't have very quick feet. You panic.
Yeah.
You have no skills whatsoever in terms of that can translate to anything in terms of survival. You just draw.
It would be a series of hilarious accidents that would end me.
Yeah, you'd probably end up killing yourself. Yeah. Not by accident for sure.
Yeah, absolutely by accident.
You'd be swinging around that mace to hit a zombie and you hit yourself.
And I hit myself on the head. I have dropped the bar on my head a few times. So
at least he has a mace.
That's
I
true.
do have weapons now that I have all this workout shit that I haven't used in a while. I have heavy metal. I got a kettlebell. I got a steel club. I got a mace. I'll swing this shit around like I'm doing those videos. Anyways, if that comes, it's been fun knowing everybody. But look, we got a great show to review, and we got some fun topics to get to. Let's dive in.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
This week, we're doing another middle of football trailer watch. Last week, it was for Ant-Man. This week, Mandalorian Season 3 trailer will be debuting during halftime of the football game, the wild card game. I actually have a clip that's appropriate right here.
I'm very tired of the Tom Brady dick suck fest.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
So that's appropriate for the game that's being played. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for the Mandalorian, we will check back. There's only a few minutes left in the second quarter. I'm monitoring it live. I wanted to talk to you guys about this movie trailer lawsuit from a few weeks ago. Did you guys see this at all?
No, not really.
Okay.
I think I heard of it.
Well, look. Let me give you the headline. I'll read a couple of graphs so we can discuss. I think it's kind of interesting for what it means for movie studios. Headline from Variety: Ana de Armas fans lawsuit puts studios at risk over deceptive trailers. It reads, movie studios can be sued under false advertising laws if they release deceptive movie trailers, a federal judge ruled on Tuesday. U.S. District Judge Stephen Wilson issued a ruling in a case involving Yesterday, the 2019 film about a world without the Beatles. Two Ana de Armas fans filed a lawsuit in January alleging that they had rented the movie after seeing de Armas in the trailer, only to discover that she was cut out of the final film. Universal tried to throw out the lawsuit, arguing that movie trailers are entitled to broad protection under the First Amendment. The studio's lawyers argued that a trailer is, quote, an artistic, expressive work, unquote, that tells a 3-minute story conveying the theme of the movie and should thus be considered non-commercial speech. Judge Wilson rejected that argument, finding that a trailer is commercial speech and is subject to California false advertising law and the state's unfair competition law. So essentially, it's become a $5 million class action lawsuit that the judge is going to allow to go to trial.
I agree with this.
Okay.
100%.
Really? Let's talk about that because, Marvel trailers come to mind right away. It's a different case, but we've talked about how they've removed things, they've added things to keep the spoiler, the big twist in the movie a surprise. Would that be the same case? Would that fall under this law? Why do you agree with this, Brooks?
Because you got whatever you want to say, whatever kind of gymnastics they're trying to do to say, oh, this is a form of art. It's still commercial art. You're trying to get people to go to the purpose of a trailer is not to be like, hey, watch this trailer and judge it on its own merit. No, the reason the trailer is coming out is so you can tell someone to go see the movie. Now, if you have an actress that's completely cut out of the movie in the trailer and you don't see that actress, yeah, you have a right to be pissed off. They shouldn't do that.
On the one hand, you were showed a thing in a commercial, you paid for said thing, and the thing that got you to buy the thing is not in what you paid for, right? That's a breach.
In any other business, if I had a business and said, listen, come to my restaurant, get hamburgers, and then you show up and we don't have hamburgers, you could be like, hey, you fucking lied in your advertising. So why is that any different?
So, okay, on the other hand, Anthony, what are your thoughts? Because it is also a piece of art in the editing, in the tone, in the way it's put together. And there are instances when characters are cut out of. So in the movie yesterday, she had a very small part. It was entirely cut because it didn't make sense at test screening. So, but this has happened before. The lawyers also argued, they cited the Jurassic Park trailer, which is another Universal movie. This is Universal. That was made of footage that was not in the movie at all, but it was telling a story, right? That could be a trailer where it's just, where do you fall?
That should be disclosed. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to say some of these images are not in the movie or this trailer is not using movie footage. Like when you see a video game, for example, they say this is not in-game footage. They're showing that because some people will see a cinematic for a video game and think that the whole game is like that. Then they buy the game and they go, oh, that was just a cinematic. That was an in-between scene. And the actual game looks like hot shit. So now when you see a lot of video game commercials, they have it. They tell you specifically, there's like a little subtitle there that tells you that this is
it's kind of a bait and switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Even video game companies are now hip to this and putting disclaimers on there. So they should do that. If you have a disclaimer on it and go, some of the characters in this trailer may not appear in the movie, fine. At least be truthful in that. You can still run the ad.
So in the trailer for, was it Infinity War? We saw Hulk running in Wakanda, and then in the movie, Hulk is not there. Should we sue Marvel?
Well, the Hulk is in the movie, isn't he?
He's in the movie, but not like the way they showed that.
Not as Green Hulk, right? He couldn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little egregious, too. Like, you might have a case there as well.
Let me chime in real quick.
Yeah.
So when Marvel has been doing this for a bit, and here's my take on it. I didn't really care that Marvel was doing it. I wasn't up in arms about it or anything like that. I didn't have any problems with it. I felt like they were kind of playing games with us, but I didn't mind it. That being said, I completely agree that while this is kind of art, it is art that is being produced to sell something. So it is a bait and switch, and I actually do agree that while I don't personally have a problem with it, if someone were to have a problem with it, and there was, and the ruling is against their favor in terms of the movies doing this kind of stuff, I don't have a problem with that either. I think That's absolutely correct. If you're doing a bait and switch where you're trying to sell us something and you don't deliver that product that you're selling, like Rugg said, I think you can definitely be pissed and definitely, whatever legal means are possible. I think that's appropriate. And I was thinking about how when I worked in the live music industry, whenever they would sell tickets to concerts, whenever you bought a ticket, it always say lineup subject to change. This is what.
Oh yeah.
This is exactly what, if movie studios are going to do this, like Rugg said, they have to put at the end of the trailer images and movie, all subject to change. Some sort of discretion that you might not see the things in the trailer in the
But
movie.
I could argue, isn't that understood overall? Because you'd have to put it in every movie trailer, because there are times when a movie is edited, finished post-production, the character is cut out, and they don't have the time or money to recut a trailer.
Imran, I would say 80% of the movie audience doesn't even know the movie making process. They think that trailer, when that trailer is put out,
that's it.
That the movie's made.
Oh, okay.
Well, because we talk about movies all the time, we know that the movie's not made yet when they put out that trailer. Right. It's not finished. Right. But most people don't know that.
You got to put it in every trailer. Then.
You'd have to put it in, of course.
Well, look, there's a lot of stuff that happens in a movie trailer, right? Number one, they use music that's not in the actual movie. They might, remember when the first Spider-Man trailer, they used that techno music, and that was never in the movie.
The original Sam Raimi had that World Trade Center trailer,
right?
That probably wasn't going to be in the movie at all. It was just for the trailer, but
the directors of trailers aren't the same director of the movie.
Yeah, it's usually a marketing company that's putting this together.
So they should have a disclosure if they want to say this is all footage in the movie or not. I think that might be something that they should say.
I think it changed though too.
I don't think it harms anything.
I think it changed too. I think trailers originally did have stuff, and in them that didn't. A lot of times that didn't end up in the movie. You can the 80s action movies we could talk about. There's scenes in Cliffhanger in the trailers that don't show up in the
there's
movie.
A lot of scenes.
He's supposed to jump way across a cliff. That doesn't happen in the movie.
Yeah, he's cut for a reason, and it still happens today. The movies come out.
But what I'm getting at though is I don't know if I can point to any other movie studios, but I can definitely point to Marvel and say some of the stuff they were doing is a little nefarious. Like they were intentionally tricking the audience.
That is a little shady, yes.
Whereas I think some of these movies were going through the production process and going, you know what, that doesn't fit. But we still got to put the trailer out. And then they realized after the trailer, this doesn't fit the movie.
These two that filed this lawsuit paid $4 rental to rent this movie, and now they're part of a $5 million lawsuit. Now, I've been going back and forth on this. In this case, I guess it makes sense. If you are a fan of a certain person, it's disappointing. But it seems kind of fucking petty that you're because now every studio is going to think twice about their trailers, but then they often give away too much in the trailers. So maybe I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's a big ask for a studio to just put the disclaimer at the end of the trailer.
I guess that's why there's the tag on the hairdryer. Don't use this in the bathtub because people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, you just gotta cover your ass.
You just gotta cover your ass.
Yeah, I feel like if they're, I feel like in general practice, you should know what's in your trailer first before you even make the movie, and you should try and not cut anything that's going to be in the trailer. I really think that you should do that.
After the trailer's made, you can't cut the movie around the trailer if it's better without it. In this case, have you seen the movie yesterday, Ruggs? Anybody seen this? It's very good.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's about this Indian dude who plays guitar, acoustic guitar.
Oh, here we go.
And Himesh Patel, he's great. He hits his head one day and he wakes up and he realizes that nobody in the world has ever heard Beatles songs except he knows all the Beatles songs, and he proceeds to get famous, make money recording Beatles songs that no one's ever heard in this world. It's kind of fun. So he has a love interest in the film, but Ana de Armas was going to appear as a secondary love interest, but after the screening, they cut her because they were like, it's not necessary, and the people didn't like that he was talking to this girl when this girl was here or something. So it made the movie better, but I don't know. I think it's kind of fucking petty, but I can see the point.
I think I also agree it is a little. That's why I didn't personally care about it. It didn't bother me, but the people that are suing I don't know if they do.
Well,
I don't know how much they deserve. Maybe.
Do you remember in Spider-Man?
Yeah, maybe give him $8, twice their
Give
money.
them back $8.
In Amazing Spider-Man, Mary Jane was supposed to be in, and they cut her out
yeah.
after
They
they
shot a bunch of stuff.
But
with
they
her.
never put her in the
They
trailer.
didn't. That was early enough. This, it could happen late in production. It was a smaller
So-
independent film. Whatever. I just think the precedent it sets is interesting moving forward to see what happens.
Look, first of all, there's no reason to put out a trailer like that far in advance anyway. There isn't. We've already figured this out in this new age where everything is like in the old days, you only had a few ways to get people to see something. You can literally fucking irate people with your phones, and just bombard them with fucking everything. So you could just do a 2 month before you release.
yeah.
That's
If
true.
you're still, if you can't put out a trailer 5 months before the movie comes out and not have to fucking cut things out, then don't be making movies, because then obviously you're doing it wrong. Because if you're editing a movie until the week before it comes out,
that
then,
happens to the big guys. Sometimes it happens to the
they fucked up
Somebody
somehow.
fucked up.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger ended
Yeah.
up on, I think, was released or put in the theaters the day before it was supposed to come out.
Oh my god! And no, you're right. Nowadays, these trailers are coming out 1-2 months ahead of time. Things move so fast. Used to be you had to put one out 6 months ahead
Well,
of time.
it's just a completely different. They were
Landscape,
doing
yeah.
that because they had to flood the movie theater audience, because that was the only time anyone ever saw a trailer was going to a movie theater. So they had to do it earlier. They had to build the hype, because once you left that movie theater, you weren't going to see a trailer.
Yeah, you couldn't just pull it up.
So
boom.
There's a lot. There's a new one. I think this is all. Honestly, this is all very easily fixable.
Just put a thing there saying
Just
what
either
you
put
may
the
see may
disclaimer
not
or
be in the
wait.
movie.
Right.
Yeah,
One of the
boom,
two. There's
done.
two options: wait or put the disclaimer.
Give these people $10 and call it a day. They're good. They might make $5 million. Anyways, listener, what do you think about all this? Let us know your thoughts on Deceptive movie trailers. You can join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It is a exclusive, private, closed group just for you, listener. Join it today. Okay, let's move on from one legal thing to another quick legal thing regarding Ezra Miller, star of the Flash movie coming out this June. You may remember us talking last May. They were charged after allegedly stealing liquor from the house of one of their neighbors in Vermont, breaking in, stealing booze. Deadline is reporting that they have pleaded guilty to get a reduced sentence. Ezra Miller pled guilty to a misdemeanor unlawful trespass in Vermont Superior Court and accepted the conditions imposed by the court. What are the conditions? He's going to have to serve 1 year on administrative probation, and he will have to pay $500. That's it, $500. That is his fine that they have to pay to make this. And I don't even know what administrative probation is, that you cannot leave the office. You have to do Xerox copies. I don't understand how that works, but it doesn't sound very serious. So, also, he has agreed to 41 conditions as part of the plea deal, which include no drinking, random drug tests, commitment to continue seeking mental health treatment.
So probation is you got to check in or something,
Probably,
right?
yeah, and not get in trouble, and they're probably gonna drug test him and piss test him. You just gotta stay clean. Okay, I don't know if this is a good look for him.
Can you jerk off?
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Will that set?
Are they going to check that
Will that
too?
set off the ankle bracelet? I don't know.
What can you do? You can't drink. You can't. Can you smoke cigarettes?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anthony, this movie is still coming out. We talked about last week how they may even be, Warner Brothers may even be considering keeping Ezra Miller, but I find it surprising he continues to play the Flash after this movie comes out. Is this, what does he think? Is this redemption, or is he being responsible, or is this a bad look again?
I think James is going to do whatever he wants to do. I feel like this whole thing has been a mess. It's a shame, because I think I've heard that the movie might be pretty good. By the end of the day, though, it really means nothing, because James Gunn's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. So I don't even really have an opinion on it, because it's all kind of meaningless.
I mean, I just find it's interesting that he kind of gets us a slap on the wrist. They got a slap on the wrist.
Do you think that the fact that Ezra pled guilty was hey, okay, I'm owning up to my crimes?
I think that definitely is how that that helps, and how it gets you the reduced sentence. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, that always helps.
I've watched enough Law and Order episodes to know that much. But yeah, look, they got a slap on the wrist, and we'll see them in the flesh in a few months. Listener, check out our TeePublic shop. We have awesome T-shirts and hoodies and swag.
I got something that's not on the thing, by the way.
Oh, okay. Visit jockandnerd.com/shop. You can buy some stuff with the logo on there with Rug Boy's face. What's the thing you got, Anthony? Because we're still waiting on this Mandalorian trailer.
Well,
it is halftime.
While we wait, by the time we record the next show, the Oscar nominees will have been announced.
Ooh, okay.
And one thing to keep in mind is Angela Bassett won Best Supporting Actress in the Golden Globes.
She did. I watched some of the Globes this past Tuesday. It was interesting.
But I'm just looking through these predicted lists. I'm looking at Variety and EW, and there's some interesting choices on here because these are some of the movies we've talked about.
What they got?
Well, some of the predicted contenders for Best Picture that we would be aware of. Top Gun Maverick is in the running. Everything Everywhere All at Once is in the running.
Nice.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is in the running.
For Best Picture.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Avatar: Way of the Water is in the running.
Okay.
Glass Onion is in the running.
Wow.
And I'm seeing a late push here for RRR.
Yes, absolutely.
As far as movies we've talked about, there's a bunch of other dramatic movies that we wouldn't probably talk about, but there you go.
Wow, what a I think they're gonna pick some big blockbuster movies that got people back into the cinema.
Top Gun Maverick is almost a shoe-in. That's gonna make it.
That's the one of them. And I think Angela Bassett, I hope she gets nominated and wins. She would be the first MCU actor, right, to win an Academy Award for a role. And usually the Golden Globes are pretty good predictors. They also, they said House of the Dragon was the best series of the year. One, the hot D. But yeah, it was an interesting ceremony after not being on the year before with the controversies of things.
I know we don't get super dramatic with the stuff, but there was some stuff. There's some big names in here that I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. It might make me watch it.
I think there's gonna be a lot of interesting things this year's Oscars. I am looking for them opening up. I mean, Avatar coming late in the game.
Yeah,
fucking thing has made like 1.8 billion now. It's almost.
Are you curious some of the other nominees potential?
Yeah,
right.
I feel like I could guess some of them.
I'm just curious if you guys have seen any of these movies. Because I haven't.
Yeah,
I'll throw them out there. You just say yes, no, and you can comment if you liked it. The Fabelmans.
No, that's the Steven Spielberg. Yeah.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
I have not seen it. I've heard of it though. Yeah.
Tar.
No.
I heard this movie is amazing. It has Cate Blanchett. It has a lot of long one-shot sequences. I really kind of want to see this.
Okay. Elvis.
Yes.
You saw it?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it? Good, bad? It's all right.
It's on HBO Max. I've been meaning to watch it because Austin Butler won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, he was good in it.
And then it was so sad. Lisa Marie Presley died. Rest in peace. Like after she was at the Globes, and then days later.
It's crazy.
That's
crazy.
Nuts. Yeah. How about All Quiet on the Western Front?
No.
Another one. This is
World
on
War I
Netflix.
movie?
Another.
Movie.
I read the book. The book's amazing. I heard this movie's amazing. I got to watch it. But I heard it's very depressing and not fun.
Okay. The Whale.
No,
I have not seen it. This is
Fraser.
Yeah, Brandon Fraser in playing a 600-pound 110 man or something.
All right, and then Living. I don't know what this is.
Oh, I don't even know what that one is. Jeez.
I think that's like about a guy who's like terminally ill and he's just gonna live his life.
1950s London, humorless civil servant decides to take time off work to experience life after receiving a grim diagnosis.
Yeah.
I hope Everything Everywhere gets some things. I know Michelle Yeoh and Kei Hua, both of them won, I think, the Globe, which is exciting.
He Everything Everywhere, they're in contention for Best Director, Supporting Actor. So
here's the thing, though. You got Spielberg. He won the Globe for Best Director. You're going up against the GOAT. He's essentially made a autobiographical movie about him, falling in love with movies.
Yeah, Cameron could be in there too.
And then I think Avatar has a good chance to slip in after. Avatar and Top Gun seem to be the movies that brought everyone back to the theater, right? And made a lot of money.
Right.
Celebrating the form, and they love that.
Well, I would say just not Roman Polanski Anthony anymore. Casual fan Anthony. The Oscars, if they're smart, they and part of this is about ratings. They should throw in a couple Best Picture movies that people saw. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, if they want people watching, you're gonna have to give Top Gun Maverick some love.
You got to throw in Top Gun Maverick. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is just a phenomenon that I've even heard about. So you got to throw that in. I think you got to throw in either an Avatar, a Glass Onion, or Black Panther. You got to do it just to get the people watching.
Yeah, because then people could be like, "Oh my god,
Oh, these are movies I've watched, I've seen.
Yeah, they
I actually
get
give a
something?
shit about this.
Yeah, could be a fun Oscars. Great set of movies and things. All right, look, I don't think the trailer is out yet. Let's take a quick break here. Ant-Man and the Wasp tickets are now on sale. I can tell you that much. We're going to pause, wait for the Mandalorian trailer, play some promos, come back, talk about The Last of Us, all right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm Imran.
And I'm Sophia.
I'm the brother.
And I'm the sister. And we are watching a show about cousins.
We're your hosts for Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast.
We grew up watching the 80s hit sitcom, and now we'd like you to join us every week as we rediscover our love for our favorite TV cousins, Balky and Larry.
You can find our show at danceofjoypod.com and on all major podcast platforms. Now we are so happy, Sophia. We do the Dance of Joy.
Imran, this is a podcast. They can't see us.
Oh.
We'll get you back to your regularly scheduled podcast in just a minute. But we wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Blake on this highly produced advertisement.
That's right. It's the History of Bad Ideas, a.k.a. Hobie. You can find us on Twitter at Bad Ideas Podcast and on Facebook at the History of Bad Ideas. But if you like a podcast roundtable with 3 to 5 guests, usually every week, depending on sick leave, talking about all things geek, including movies,
TV.
I ain't getting paid for this shit.
Blake bitching about something and ranting, and comic books and anything else that we can think of. We have a top 5 list every week, along with a box office news, and somehow we have listeners, so they send us some feedback we answer every week. You can find us on iTunes,
Stitcher,
Facebook,
Spotify,
and any good podcast app, because if you can't find us on that podcast app, it's not a good podcast app.
Damn straight. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, there's one thing you can do. You can join our awesome fan club on Patreon. Jock and Nerd. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon to give back to the show. Helps the show keep going. I got to say huge thanks this week to my boy Joe Henry, my vitiligo brother from another Smothers mother. He increased his support this week.
Wow.
Geek boner. He actually quadrupled what he was donating.
Whoa.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe. See what I'm saying? People with vitiligo, you always got to trust them. You got to go with them. They got your back.
Oh, thank you.
You would think by me calling out the color of his penis that would have decreased the bid.
No.
It's increased. Wow. I know now what to do.
Yes.
We see you. Yes.
You are seen, Joe Henry. Your penis has been seen. Anyways, you join him. You will get access to lots of benefits like an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus material, post shows. You can join our Discord hangout once a month. We do a Discord hangout. This month it will be Thursday, January 26th. Is that right? Last Thursday of the month. I think that's right. Anyways. Whatever.
I'm not
It's on the
going anyways,
Patreon.
so
Yeah,
I'm
Anthony doesn't go, but it's a fun time. And you can pick a movie and force us to watch any movie to watch and review. Lots of fun stuff over on the Patreon. Link in the description. Okay, before we get to The Last of Us, the Mandalorian trailer did just drop. We all watched it. Live reaction. Season 3 officially starts March 1st on Disney+. Anthony, let's start with you.
Whoa, the non-Star Wars guy.
The non-Star Wars guy who we forced to watch all Star Wars things.
I love it. The trailer looks good. I don't really know what's going on, as per usual, but it looks like they're upping the stakes. It looks like there's a lot of action. There looks like there's a lot of things that Star Wars fans would be excited about. It looks a little bit bigger in terms of scope. I don't really know what's going on. I know that he has to redeem himself for taking off his mask. That's about it. The only mistake I see is if, again, I don't know why they resolved a big arc from season 2 in Boba Fett, so that if you're watching this as watching season 3's trailer, you'd be really confused unless you watched Boba Fett.
Yep.
What the hell? Why Baby Yoda Grogu is with
How are they
Mando.
back? What happened?
But other than that, looks good to me. I'd be curious what you guys think, really. My opinion doesn't means dick on this, really.
You just got to go back and watch the last 3 episodes of Boba Fett. You'll be caught up. Don't worry about the rest of it. Just watch the Mandalorian episodes. Rugs, a lot of creatures in here. He's got to go back to Mandalore. He still has the dark saber, right?
Yes.
What'd you think of this?
I'm excited to see some Mandalorian. They're going to Mandalore.
You got to go to fucking the planet.
You're going to bring that to life. You know, we're going to get to see about what the deal is with these Mandalorians. Like, are they a kind of extreme faction that's like kind of its own thing? Or what do the real Mandalorians think? What does the general populace of Mandalore think of this stuff? Is this going to change Din Djarin's perspective? And that's about it.
Well, I think we're going to meet Bo-Katan again. Is Moff Gideon a part of this? But yeah, some cool like action bits at the end. You see Baby Yoda fighting some kind of fucking werewolf creature, tossing him out of a cave. That's always great. But yeah, no, it looks good. It's different. We just got Andor. Now we got to kind of go back to like the fun, creature-filled world of Star Wars, traditional, orthodox Star Wars, whatever you want to call it. I like having both sides of these, though, because
they don't believe in the Pope in this version of Star Wars.
No, it's very orthodox. They celebrate Christmas on a different day.
Wow.
I don't get it. Isn't that how that works? I don't know. Orthodox is the real one. I trust the Orthodox. It means the original, the true. But I love Andor. I love that we can have both flavors of Star Wars for all types of fans. So March 1st, we'll do the usual premiere review and then review it when it's over. Just like we're going to do with this show we're reviewing this week. Listener, we will be reviewing the first episode of The Last of Us on HBO. Spoilers. Here you go.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This show will be running 9 episodes, and it, of course, is based on the 2013 video game of the same name, The Last of Us, developed by Naughty Dog. Widely considered one of the greatest video games of all time, one of the best-selling video games of all time. It sold 1.3 million units the week it came out, and by April 2018, it had sold 17 million copies. There's a sequel. There's 3 games, right? There's like a DLC, which counts as a game. So there's
2, and then the DLC.
And then the DLC. On Rotten Tomatoes, this adaptation of the show currently sitting at 99% tomato meter.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Critics audience score 96%. The show, here's where it's kind of cool. The show is created and written by 2 dudes, Craig Mazin, who did the amazing limited series Chernobyl on HBO. Go watch that right now. It's so good. And Neil Druckmann, who is the writer and co-director of the video games. So it is coming from the source. Also, the music has the same composing team, David Fleming, Gustavo Santolala, composing the music and for the TV show. So I love this. They went right to the creator of the game and got him involved.
Definitely a good move on their part.
Right? We've discussed this before, but let's get it out there. Who have you played the game, Anthony?
I played the first game. I didn't play the second one. It came out like 7 years after the first one.
2020, I think, the sequel came out.
So I played the first one, and I don't play... I dabble in video games. I play a lot of sports stuff, although recently I haven't played a lot of anything. That being said, as Imran kind of said earlier, I would completely agree. This game was one of just the best experiences I've ever had playing a video game.
Yeah.
With the story is amazing, the gameplay is great. It's that story really hooks you in. So I loved playing this game. It was scary as shit at sometimes, but I loved playing it.
Nice.
So
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Ruggs, you played the game?
Yeah.
All the way through, right? What did you think of the game out?
No, I don't think I made it all the way through.
Okay.
I did like what I was doing. It's just those type of games, they wear on me after a while. The only thing that I really loved about the game was how engrossing the story was and how just well written it was. And the characters were great and the predicaments that you were put in were kind of original, but I just didn't have the wherewithal to finish it. I think I got distracted by Destiny coming out too.
Okay.
And like, I just got into that game so hardcore because it was just like fun and shooting games. And it wasn't as depressing as The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But I really thought that the game was just on another level, though. For real. It was really, really cool.
I have played the beginning of this game. The first, maybe I'm say like 6 hours in. And no surprise, I got to a point that was hard and I got frustrated and I was like, fuck this game. And I walked away.
Yeah, it gets hard sometimes.
And then I went back, I tried to go back and I was like, fuck you, game. And so I got to get back to it. But I was completely sucked in. I played it because everybody said how good it was and the acting and the performance capture and everything is fucking amazing. So, Anthony, with that being said, tell us the plot of this first episode is near feature length. It's like 85 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice chunky runtime. What happens in episode 1 of The Last of Us?
Very, very similar to the game. If you've played the game, for those that haven't played the game, what has happened is it starts out in 2003. There's a little prelude before, but it really starts in 2003. And a fungal infection has hit the world and spread much faster than the world can contain it. And it causes people to become zombie-like, let's say. Zombies, per se. And the story revolves around Joel in the beginning of this and his daughter, who end up getting caught in this chaos with the zombie plague happening. And within the first half hour or so, spoiler alert, he loses his daughter due to the circumstances of what has been happening. And then we flash forward to 20 years later, and Joel is a much hardened man. The world is basically upside down. People are living in quarantine zones under martial law. And Joel and his wife, or his partner, I guess, are tasked with taking a girl who they have no relationship with, another young girl who's about the same age as his daughter was 20 years ago, to another place because she potentially can help cure
she's special.
the world. Yeah, she's special.
So the cast, real quick, we meet in this first episode. There were going to be more people, but this first one, fantastic cast. Pedro Pascal playing Joel, Bella Ramsey playing Ellie, who she was from Game of Thrones, Gabriel Luna playing Joel's brother Tommy. You have Anna Torv playing the character of Tess, Merle Dandridge playing Marlene. She plays Marlene in the video game. So they got the same actress, and Sarah is being played by Nico Parker, Joel's daughter. But later we're getting Nick Offerman's in this, Melanie Linsky's in this. It's got the cast will expand, but this is the main cast. So Anthony, let's start with you. Having played the game and watched the first episode, what'd you think of this?
I really liked this. I thought it was awesome. I been a long time since I played the game, so I don't remember every plot point in the game, and this was kind of re-jarring my memory on how enjoyable the game experience was. I thought it was great. I hope that this show is a huge success for HBO and is, similar to the success they've had with Game of Thrones and some of those other prestige TVs, because they have had some misses too. I've read about the end of Westworld not being so good, and what was that show with Jonathan Majors that got canceled after one season?
Lovecraft Country canceled after one season.
So,
Westworld just canceled after 4 seasons.
So I'm hoping this show has the chops, but everything I've seen in the first episode was riveting. I really enjoyed it. I like the cast, and we can get into some of the details, but there were moments in the first episode where I was literally white knuckle, like, oh fuck,
it's fucking
shit.
Good.
I mean, that first half hour, 40 minutes,
the whole 2003 segment,
is they build tension perfectly throughout the entire part of the show. So I loved it. I thought the first episode was awesome.
Ruggs, what'd you think? Is it a good adaptation? Can this be the next Game of Thrones for HBO?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. That whole beginning thing that was set in the early 80s where they had the interview.
it was the 60s. It was 1968 talk show.
Oh, was it the 60s?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was brilliant.
Great.
I was like, this fucking guy. You know what the thing I hate is when everybody knows what the fuck is going on in the show and you don't as someone who's watching it.
Right.
And this was a great way to like set the whole thing up, add a feeling of dread, add anticipation to what was happening. Because when you play the game, there's none of that. There's just like,
and this is something
you're thrust into it.
There's something different they can do on a TV show as opposed to a game. The whole discussion about viruses versus fungus and what happens if the planet gets warmer was amazing. It was so good. I love that opening bit.
So yeah, I really like that a lot. And then when they do get to 2003 and they do that whole scene, it was like being in the video game. I remember like that whole scene where she's sitting in the back of the car.
Oh yeah.
And they're driving past the burning building and shit. I'm like, that's right out of the game.
A lot of
literally
it, yeah.
line for line of like what they were saying.
The burning building, the chaos on the streets. Oh, let me just say overall, I fucking love this.
I fucking loved it.
First episode so much. It is a better Walking Dead meets Why the Last Man meets 28 Days Later. It is a better zombie kind of thing. But when you start the game, you're playing as his daughter, right? And you're just walking around. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Cleverly in this one, they give you a little more character for this daughter. And I loved how if you didn't play the game, you would have thought Sarah was going to be the lead protagonist, one of the leads. And the gut punch that happens in the first 30 minutes is amazing. But I knew, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Don't get too attached to her.
I feel like that if you know that she's going to die, it's annoying a little bit.
A little bit.
You're like, why are we spending, she's going to die. You're like, I already know that she dies. So we don't need to always spend so much time with her. Like, stealing stuff from her dad's drawer.
Yeah, but it shows you her character a little bit. The watch comes into play, and
I understand, but like I understand why they did it because there's a lot of people who haven't played the game, and they're gonna get more out of that. But when you've already seen it, when you've already lived it in the game, you're like, let's get to the other part.
Well, what I think they did a good job, though, I agree because I played the game. I think they did a good job throughout that of ratcheting up the tension because you see. You hear like the radio clip and it's like something in Jakarta and they're like, what's Jakarta? Whatever. Yeah. And then you see ambulances moving, going by in the background. You're like, oh, whatever. That's not, that's not a big deal. And then you see a helicopter go by and then they're in the jewelry store or in the watch shop and the lady kicks them out. Yeah. But the most fucking harrowing thing for me is when she's looking through the DVDs and the old comatose woman starts like spazzing in the background with her mouth. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, turn around. Get out of there.
I literally was like, oh fuck.
It was so great. And then when she's walking, she's leaving, the dog is just sitting there.
Oh,
staring
the
at her.
Them adding the dog.
You got to trust dogs, man. They know what's up. Always listen to the fucking dog. No, the first 30 minutes, the slow increase of tension was fucking riveting. Is so well done. Just, they're not spoon feeding you. There's little hints here and there. And then when she wakes up at 2 a.m, the house is shaking. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? I loved also in that old lady scene when she sees her eating the wife. You see like the little tentacles come out of her mouth. So it's not like she's eating flesh. It's like the fungus inside her is reaching out. But yeah, just like the opening of the game, it was fantastic. The truck point of view from inside the chaos. They changed a little bit. I guess the car crash caused by the plane crash, which was also great. Seeing a plane just come down. And then the fucking tragic way she dies. Still, it's fucking heart-wrenching. But it was done really well.
The whole gist of the game is, although this terrible thing has happened in terms of transforming the humans into zombie-esque characters, the real loss is the loss of humanity. And in that moment, the soldier, he radios in, that she's got a messed up ankle, and they're like, kill him.
Yeah, you know what to say.
They're not useful.
Yes,
so the humanity's already being lost in that moment.
Can't trust anyone. And then in a short 20 years, when next it cuts forward, like there is so much degradation and growth and buildings are toppling over. Holy shit, that this thing did a number in just 20 years. And you get amazing world building in this post-apocalyptic future. that I love.
Yeah, it looks great.
It looked great. The little details are
Was it
great.
20 years, the jump in the game?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I don't think it was that long.
I feel like that's a big leap for me to get on board with the character, because Pedro Pascal's character Joel is 36, so then 20 years you're making me go,
Well,
okay,
he
he's
doesn't quite look
56.
56. Yeah, it's his birthday.
Well, it's not even that he looks that way. It's like, I know how this plays out in the game, and you're asking me to believe that a 56-year-old man's gonna fucking do the shit that's about to happen. I don't know. I'm not 56 though. I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
Well,
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at Harrison Ford. He's still
Keanu.
But speaking of the action in the game and the action in this, I wanted to ask you guys this. I did find an interesting article in Variety with them talking about how they wanted to avoid the mistake of video game adaptations. Like, so the scenes where, he's got to carry her when you play it, when he's getting through the city, he murders a lot of people in the game right away. They smartly, I feel, are holding back and to make the violence and the action more special, because otherwise, it cuts away. The game is, you're always with Joel. You are Joel, right? It never goes, but the show can cut away. It can show you Tessa's point of view, other things that are happening, which it does, but then it doesn't overdo the violence, I think, compared to the amount of shit you do in the game during this period.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the first episode.
It is the first episode, but I don't think they need to overdo it.
I mean, he does beat a guy's face in with his fist.
He brains the old lady with the wrench. That was fantastic. Yeah, and then he just fucking pummels.
I think in the game, doesn't he shoot the army guy?
There's two guys in the
head.
game. Yeah. There's two. He ends up when he's trying to escape. Are you referring to the end, Ruggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two guys, and I think he takes one out and takes the other guy out with the guy's gun.
Murders a lot of people. Oh, that army guy, that was kind of his buddy. Did he remind anybody else of like Brandon Lee? He looked just like Brandon Lee.
Oh God,
no.
I was like, who's this Brandon Lee looking motherfucker? That's what I saw. But I think they're smart to hold back. Again, it's a TV show is a lot different than the experience of a video game. So, but I think
what'd you guys think of the second half when they jumped 20 years ahead?
I liked it. I watched it twice, and only the second time that I catch, maybe I wasn't paying attention, like right when it jumps, that little boy that just walks in and collapses.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice the first time that his thing comes up infected.
Yeah, he's infected. That's the kid that Joel throws in the thing later.
The red shirt. She euthanizes him, telling him, you're going to be safe, you're going to be okay. And then the next thing you see is burning bodies, and then you see the red shirt kid. I was like, oh, fuck. So they right away, they set up like the posters he looks at. It was like infection times by body parts.
Mm-hmm.
There's curfew signs everywhere. I love how they're paid in like weird cards. And I love how there's a lot of topical things like pandemic. You have insurrectionists who are trying to overthrow a oppressive government, all going on at the same time. They're hanging people for leaving the quarantine zone. That's fucking hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, it's all very prevalent to what we've already kind of experienced. I mean, not to the extreme that it is in the show, but it's just serendipitous timing to bring this show back.
Right? It's
after
like
we've
perfect.
gone through a pandemic where, a lot of personal freedoms were taken away. And, this is to the nth degree of what potentially could happen. But it's another commentary on humanity and how we kind of lose that in a situation like this. And the whole video game, at least, was built around Joel finding his humanity through Ellie, and rekindling that. Because as you can see in the game, or not in the show, he really doesn't have much. He's pointing a gun at Ellie at one point in the show. In the episode, he doesn't mind tossing a 10-year-old kid in the fire.
No problem burning the body when the woman.
Right.
Yeah,
the
woman's like, I can't do it. And he just grabs, throw it in.
And it seems like everybody like kind of knows him and fears him and respects him. Like he's got a reputation.
Right.
I thought Bella Ramsey was great as Ellie, where she's counting 5, 6, 7, 8. Fuck you. That's great. She's like, you're gonna pay, motherfuckers. She's fantastic. I can't wait to see more of her.
Yeah, Ellie in the game was very like a rebellious kid, so I think Bella Ramsey's playing that pretty well so far. And I still remember her being Lyanna Mormont
Yes.
who was a badass character in Game of Thrones. So I'm just riding that wave of her being a badass character in one into this thing.
Yeah, she's a badass. I like how the two storylines kind of meet up. I mean, they're moving a lot of pieces to get the plot and the whole thing going to get Ellie with Joel out west, but the plot of him needing the battery for the truck, and then it's sold to the Fireflies, which gets them together. And then he has to now take her to the old state house. And then there's a music code that she discovers, and they end up playing Depeche Mode at the end, and 80s means trouble.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Never Let Me Down.
Yeah. So 80s is bad, yeah. And then the trooper pissing on the wall, and they catch him. So they change a couple of things, but there's a couple of fucking screenshots that are straight from the game.
Screenshots and dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue that's
and
exactly the same.
Yeah, like line for line.
Yeah.
That 2003 area.
I love when he's pummeling that guy at the end, and Ellie is just watching him, and she's like, this guy's a fucking animal. He's a good person. Could be
Well, at
next to-
first, it seems like she's kind of like, oh, wow, this is crazy. He's like, she's kind of like, trying to think of a word that the first word that came to mind is not appropriate for a character her age. She's kind of
she's
amused
into
by it.
Yes,
yeah,
she's
kind of
into
like,
it.
whoa, this guy's kind of this is crazy. This
She's
is interesting.
digging it, yeah. And then we find out she comes up red, and she has an old infection, and she's saying things like, "This has been here for 3 weeks. Usually people don't last a day. I'm not sick." So yeah, she's special. She's got some genes.
Do you know how it plays out, Imran?
I don't know how it ends, but I know that she
don't try to read anything. Then
she has a thing that they need that could reverse the thing. She's special. She's there's always a thing. I don't know. I can't remember. So I know. So they said this first season is going to be the whole storyline of the first game. So I know it's going to ruin the rest of the game, and I'm okay with that. It's a lot less hours to go through this than to play the fucking game.
Especially when you get stuck on a level,
Yes,
you can't
I
get
can't
back.
shoot this fucking guy. He's got armor. What the fuck? But no, dude. Tense, riveting. I'm in. I was in after the first 30 minutes. I was like,
Same.
oh, I'm fucking in on this 100%.
Same. I'm totally in, and I really the show. The show is going to revolve around Pedro Pascal's character Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and so far I really like both of them, and it's kind of interesting. We just watched and reviewed the Mandalorian trailer. I feel like Pedro Pascal is just running TV right now.
By the time this is over, it'll be Mando. Mando will be back. It's like all Pedro Pascal. It's great.
Wow.
It's got some solid roles. So, yeah, the first episode was 85 minutes. These have the episode runtimes. Episode 2, 53 minutes. Episode 3, I heard, is really good. So critics also were showing all 9 episodes, and they're all saying this is the best video game adaptation. Everybody is glowing reviews of the whole thing.
Good.
Episode
I'm
3,
happy about
76 minutes. So that's supposed to be a really big episode. And then you got 46 minutes, 59, 59, 56, 51, 43. So after episode 3, they're kind of regular length. But the first one, I love that it was extended, and I can't wait for 3.
Yeah, you had to establish a lot and get people like on board to the main story, and that's what you get. They're off and running. Yep. They're bringing this girl to the state house.
And it's right now. It's an ends to a mean for Joel because he really is out to get his brother back.
Yeah, he just wants to find Tommy, who he hasn't heard from in like 3 weeks. They got a truck there, but things aren't going to go as planned.
Oh,
obviously.
definitely not. What do you guys think of the zombie? I mean, we only saw really like one, but what do you think of the zombie in comparison to zombies in film and TV?
Well, I like that they didn't show the clickers yet, but I like that these are like the fast-running, scary fucking zombies that you don't want to fuck around with. None of this slow-moving Walking Dead shit.
Yeah, that stood out to me as they have him jetting. I mean, that zombie was fast.
I mean, yeah, he's carrying her through the fucking store, and it was right on top of him. That was great. The timing, the direction is so good in this show. It's just really well directed.
Go ahead,
I
Brooks.
think the fact that this whole angle with the fungus and how they have a scientific explanation for it, and that we know obviously since we played the game that there's different versions of these zombies. And it adds variety. They're not all the same. They all kind of do different things. And at some point, they have a sentience, right? So they're not typically zombies. They're more like some kind of symbiotes.
Well, something is controlling them. The fungus is controlling them.
Right. So,
I mean, for me, this is probably like one of the most grounded, realistic takes on like a zombie thing I've seen in a while.
I do appreciate like that because to me, zombies get very, very tedious for me after a while. Like these mindless things that just kind of like, whatever. I like the fact that there's different abilities and they have different weaknesses and they can exploit that. And we have words like clicker, we have names for them, like different names, different levels. So I'm looking forward to that because that ups the ante. Like in The Walking Dead, you just got the same old zombie, It's the same fucking thing. So,
well, that was
adds
what was
interest.
That was what was really good about that add-on in the beginning from the 60s because they established how the zombies right away can be made, but it's not like a lab experiment or just them being undead people. They give it a nature tie-in, which you kind of see when we had flash forward 20 years later, nature's kind of taken over. Yeah. They give it a nature tie-in, but then they still backdoor blame it on humans by going, well, if the temperature were to rise.
Yeah, see, climate change.
This fungus could potentially mutate and then survive in a human host.
This shit could happen? Wait a minute.
So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was very clever. They did some nice little clever add-ons to this that I appreciated. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
But they're sticking to like the core story, which is so good, and the storytelling of the game kind of comes through with.
Now, do they do that? The dissemination of information in the game, the same way they're doing it in the show?
I remember. See, it's been a while, but I think the game, if you remember, that you have to find a lot of clues. Remember, you like find pieces of paper, find recordings, and that's how you kind of hear, or you see posters on a wall. I think. The game was a lot of like context clues plus the cutscenes.
Right. So in the cutscenes, you'd get a lot of information dumps.
Yeah.
So do you think that they're going to be doing that, or are they going to try and do it more organically? Probably.
You got to do it different on a TV show. You could do it kind of a traditional way, but showing instead of telling. But I think they've done that already.
You want to know what the challenge is? Is like. All these characters live in this world. They already know all this shit. Why would they sit there and bring it up? They probably wouldn't.
Well, but it's just like, how they're showing the posters, they're showing, announcements from Fedra, and you could get clues from how people are acting.
You could see how they already did it with that poster when it's like where you get bit, how long the turn is. I thought that was very clever to show that poster and be like, okay, we're not going to. Everyone's been here 20 years. They know how it is, but we don't know.
There was
something
up on screen that if you didn't pause it, you couldn't read it, but it had like a ton of like little information on it as well.
It's a cordyceps virus, right? Which is, I think, a real thing.
Yep.
But no, it's fucking.
I might be having to pause this shit.
I did. I paused it when they showed the poster of where you're bit and how long it takes to turn.
That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, it reminds you.
This establishes the rules of the universe.
And how much does it remind you of all the fucking COVID signs that are still up everywhere? You're like, how far away are we from that? I don't know.
I mean, if you were living in China up until 2 weeks ago, you were still in lockdowns and
big posters. Don't go out.
I'm not ready to. Imran, you're always big on making bold proclamations after very little data.
This could be the best show ever.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say this is better than Walking Dead at its peak, but it's a very good start.
I mean, it's a solid start. I feel like people are going to be talking about this. I feel like
I think you're forgetting how good Walking Dead was
in the beginning,
in the first couple seasons.
Yeah, but hopefully they could do things on HBO. They have HBO
100%.
money. So
I think they spent $100 million on this first season.
Yeah, they said like the budget is more than the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, which in the beginning Game of Thrones didn't have huge budgets, right? It was like 5, 8, 10 million a season. It got bigger and bigger. But $100 million budget, you see it. I mean, I think the CG of the buildings and it looks good. It looks fucking lived in.
The problem with Walking Dead and AMC is like that was their flagship show, and it was in their interest to try and just keep it going as long as they could.
Mm-hmm,
and HBO has shows like this that come and go all the time.
Well, so here's my question. If it gets picked up season 2, how many seasons are they going to do? I know if they're going through the first game this season, I believe the second game picks up like many years later.
There's only 2.
How many seasons of Game of Thrones did we have?
8.
Oh, geez, 8 now, and plus now 1 prequel season, so 9.
So 9 plus, but you can tell stories between the first and second game. Like I don't want them to jump.
But some
ahead.
seasons were like 6 episodes or something.
They were,
right?
but, and they were like an hour and a half episodes, but it was anywhere from like 8 to 10 episodes until the end.
Well, let me tell you what I don't want.
Yeah.
At least right now, I don't want them doing a Last of Us spinoff like they did with Walking Dead, where they did the Walking Dead spinoff
where
that
Nick Offerman
I
gets
quit.
a show or something. Yeah.
Well, no, remember it was like a prequel Walking Dead.
Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think HBO usually has a more restraint on some of this kind of stuff.
I think you could do good 4 or 5 seasons to this.
I think you only get.
I think 4 is more than enough.
I was only thinking 2. I think you just do the season and then the next
Just do
season,
the 2
which is the
games.
game. Yeah.
Then do the second game and call it quits. See, that is also a way to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot happens in between the 2 games that you learn about in the second game. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. But this is going to be a hit. This already critically a hit. Let's rate this episode. We will, of course, when it finishes airing, we will do a whole season review. But what would you give this episode, Anthony?
Oh, well, fuck it. 10 out of 10.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Perfect score. I'm giving it a 9.5. It's fucking damn near just perfect. It's a great start. Ruggs,
Let me
what
say
about you?
why 10 out of 10 real quick.
Yeah.
I have a very short attention span these days. I look at my phone all the time. I have to get up and piss every 2 minutes. Sometimes I get hungry in the middle of watching something. The only times I can really hone in on something is when I'm either in a movie theater or I'm really riveted by something. And this show I was absolutely riveted in by.
Nice.
Right from the start. They hooked me right away. The tension, the actors. I already know I'm going to like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. I love Pedro Pascal in a lot of things, so I've liked him in Game of Thrones. I liked him in Narcos. I like him in Mandalorian. I'm going to like him in this. So yeah, everything just kind of hooked me right away. And I have the built-in knowledge of I loved that first game. And I thought that playing that first game was a great experience. So everything kind of hooked me right from the start.
I mean, they managed to make this interesting for both audiences, right? People who play the game and people who haven't played the game. I think it works without a doubt. Like, you don't even need to play the game, know anything. Just turn this on, walk in, you're going to love it. Ruggs, what do you give it?
A 9, conservatively. I think it's really, really good. I hope it does feel like we've had like a lot of these post-apocalyptic zombie type post-pandemic shows.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have one with like a kid with deer ears.
Oh,
and,
yeah. What was that? Sweet
and
Tooth.
then we had Why the Last Man.
Yeah, it's a derivative of a lot of things, yes.
So, and then there was a movie where like about this girl who was a zombie, the girl with all the gifts. Like, so I've seen this like stuff happen, like all of these first few episodes of the series, and then they just go away.
Mm-hmm.
So this was on another level. So I probably would have given those maybe like 6.5 to 7s. This is like tiers above it. So they did a great job out the gate.
They're doing the zombie shtick, but they're doing it better. They're doing it really well. Well executed.
Is this the best that could be done? I think so. Might be worthy of a 10. But I did feel, though, to be honest, that I was like, since I know what happens in the game, I was like, just like not as interested in some of the there was like maybe 5 or 6 minutes here and there where I was like, oh, let's go. Come on, let's go.
See, the first 30 minutes, I knew what was going to happen. I love the first 30 minutes of this episode. It was fucking great tension, even though I was like, I remember.
I am worried about that too, Ruggs. I agree. Where I know, I don't remember a lot of the beats in the middle, but I know how it ends for sure because it was a hell of an ending. And I'm like, how am I going to feel watching this where I know what's going to play out?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, I think there's 2 schools of thought on that. Did it do justice to what you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if they do change something, is it better?
Right.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, a good story is a good story, no matter what the medium. And this kind of proves that he had a good story from the start.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean,
so if that
Ron,
ending-
you're making these bold proclamations of this is all right. Like they had
Listen,
a great story. This is
if the original
One
ending
episode,
is
one episode.
effective, maybe you don't have to change it. You just
right.
film it.
I thought you
kind
were
of
saying that this show already has a great story. I'm like, sure.
No, well, if it, it's showing it like the game had a great story, so
Yes.
it is bringing over a great story, solid foundations to begin with.
Yeah,
I never got to the end, so
I never got to the end either. So,
Oh, you don't remember it
I'm
either?
good.
you never
No,
got
I
there,
didn't-
and
Oh,
I
never
never
got
got
there.
there.
Oh,
We have
okay.
not got.
So I'm the
Yeah,
only
I
one.
punched
Yes.
out. I punched out like I would say 3/4 through the game.
Oh, okay. I will definitely. Yeah, I will keep everything to myself.
See, now I can't wait. I'm even might try to play the game and catch up along with, but that's a lot of commitment. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I mean,
just
I'm
show me what
tempted, but I got so much going
Yeah,
on.
I'm like, just show me what happens. It's fine, but fucking holy shit, fantastic.
Geek boner.
All around, can't wait to go through this journey with them.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll review it week to week, but we'll definitely
we'll
review it. At the
we'll
end.
catch it. We'll talk about it because I feel like it's going to be a lot of things to talk about every week.
Yeah.
And then and when it ends, we'll do a full season review. But for right now, we will do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
I got a couple of comments on the premiere from our Facebook group. I threw up a spoiler thread. So, look, if this is something you like every week, I might throw up a spoiler thread for The Last of Us, and you can geek out. Blake Braden says, not complaining, but that intro was very similar to that one of Game of Thrones. Instead of kingdoms, it was countries with the virus. Yeah, I can see that. It's a map. Fungal.
Oh yeah, that was that. I did.
Kind of that flyover.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
that
is
was
spreading.
kind of similar actually.
Yeah, they like doing that. HBO.
But I liked if you catch it at the end, the fungal things that arise are Ellie and Joel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
and we saw that dude on the wall. That was cool.
What if we find out the reason Ellie can withstand the fungus is because she uses copious amounts of Gold Bond medicated powder?
Gold Bond really works. She sprinkles it on her feet. It prevents athletes' feet, underarm
It's
odor.
antifungal.
Listen, the only fungal I know,
Gold Bond's really good.
psilocybin is the best fungus that I know. So make it a friend of yours.
Spread those cheeks and shoot some Gold Bond up
Didn't
your
they
ass.
say that talcum powder gives you cancer? Is that true or is that
Is
not?
that right?
If you eat it, I don't know. You breathe it.
I mean, I would assume shooting it up your asshole is probably worse than eating it.
Yeah, I guess.
There's membranes in there.
It's probably quicker. Gets into the system
God,
quicker.
that is a sensation.
We've talked about
It's
Gold
worth
Bond
every second.
a lot on this podcast. Jose Ibarra says, let me start off by saying The Last of Us is one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. Episode 1 was perfect. The way it starts out feeling like Sarah will be the protagonist until that absolute gut punch was flawlessly adapted and acted. The cast is excellent and their chemistry really shines. I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
And Daryl K gives it 5 stars, episode 1. So people digging it. That's good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Moving on, Justin Zwerner posted the first poster.
That's the actual poster?
I think it's real. The Amazon Studios reboot of a Roadhouse from Doug Liman, starring
That's not the real
Jake
poster.
Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, and this poster is awful.
It looks awful if that's the real. I was questioning if that's the real poster.
That is
It
the
says
worst
coming
poster I've ever
soon.
seen.
I guess somebody could have made it, but it does not look good. Some comments from our listener on this
Wait,
poster.
let me just check real quick. I'm
check
checking
it.
some sources.
Lisa Morrison says, seriously. Daryl K said, what the fuck? Jose Barra says, McGregor is in it. Cue the Royd House jokes. I didn't even think about Royd House. It's right there. That's a great joke.
Conor McGregor did post this. I think this is the real poster.
Daryl K says, I'm wondering if he's going, if Connor's going to tap out 2 seconds after someone puts him in a fake chokehold, just like real life. If you click that link, though, there is a Twitter. There's a tweet with set photos of these guys, and they're looking kind of jacked in appropriate form.
Connor's probably doing steroids.
Oh, they're all doing roids. Conor McGregor kind of reminds me of like Tom Hardy in some of these photos too, and just in certain ways, certain light. This is not going to be good. This can't be.
No, I
don't see how this
had
could
a
be
little
good.
bit of hope for this, but No, this isn't good. I mean, who's directing again? The guy,
Doug Liman, who is
Doug
a
Liman, that's
fantastic director.
Yeah, that's the only thing I keep circling back to. Wait, Doug Liman's doing it. It might be good.
Conor McGregor's in the water.
This poster's awful. This is an
like
awful poster.
Aquaman. Yeah,
having Conor McGregor in it's kind of a weird. Like that guy has no acting experience whatsoever.
McGregor posted that image. Oh, it's fucking
He
real.
did, yeah. So it makes me think it's real.
Garbage. Amazon.
I mean, this looks like a UFC poster, like a bad UFC poster.
It does. I think that's what they were going for, but like,
yeah, what are they even going for? I don't even know.
I don't know
what a Roadhouse remake. What you're trying to do with a Roadhouse remake?
So Gyllenhaal will be running like a MMA studio, something club. Is that what? I forget what it is. It's just it doesn't need to be Roadhouse.
Ruggs, after seeing this poster, have your thoughts changed? Do you think this will be good now?
I never thought it was going to be good, and it's still not.
Not replace Dalton.
Look, it's just not what you do. It's you can't. Lame. You got to go bigger and better. You can't just do some I don't know.
Yeah, this is. I'm going to watch it because it's going to be a train wreck.
100%. I'm going to watch it,
but I don't think it's going to be good. All right,
they're remaking.
There is no way.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There is no fucking way it's going to even come close. It's going to be like. Do you remember when they remade RoboCop?
Yeah, with Joel Kinnaman.
Joel
Kinnaman. Yeah.
That was actually a decent movie.
Yeah,
and nobody even talks about that, and that was a decent movie.
Right.
Like it doesn't hold a candle to the fucking genius that whoever the fuck directed Roadhouse was. I don't even know the genius's name, but it was whatever he did. They're gonna do it again.
It was Rowdy Harrington.
Rowdy Harrington is his name. But I mean, you got Swayze, you got Kelly McGillis. Was that Kelly McGillis? Kelly Lynch. Sorry, Sam Elliott.
No.
Great fucking cast. Great movie. You just don't need to do another Roadhouse. Just don't touch it.
Roadhouse, top 4 '80s movie according to the Jock and Nerd podcast.
Yeah, I got to the final 4. Fuck yeah! I mean,
this Roadhouse wouldn't even make it into anything.
As long as he rips out someone's throat and says, "Be nice." Like, well, how are they going to do all that? Like, it's
I'm already. Even though we know where this is going,
yeah.
When this comes out, we're reviewing it for the show.
All right.
We have to review it.
We'll book it.
Yeah. Whatever that is, we're dropping what we're doing and we're reviewing this.
I think they just started production, so it could be a minute.
What do you think it's gonna be? Like, are we even gonna wait to do the show before we contact each other about what our feelings about, or are we not going to be able to do that?
No, I'll probably tell you right off the bat. You'll know walking into the show what I think of it. And by the way, Ron, filming started in August of 2022, so it's been filming.
Oh,
it might even be done.
Oh,
how long can it take?
This year. It might come out this year. It says initial release 2023. I want to hear what Bilotti has.
Like,
to think
what are
about
they
this
waiting on over here?
Yeah. First images. Yeah, just put it out. It's being produced by Joel Silver, so we'll see if he's still got the touch. Probably not. Unless you can Top Gun Maverick it. I don't know.
Look, it's got to have boobs, which it's not. No. It's not going to have people fucking in the fucking room. It's not going to have people throwing beer bottles at a blind guy playing guitar.
Yeah, where's the blind? You need the blind guitar.
Yeah, come on. Like, what do we got here?
The blind guy playing guitar.
They're going to have a deaf painter. I don't know. It's just not going to work. Okay, let's wrap up with some What Are We Watching? Anthony, you said you're not watching nothing.
No, I didn't watch anything this week, other than what we've been required to watch.
Gotcha. Next, Ruggs, you watch anything notable?
I watched R.
Oh, shit, there's only 3 hours.
Insert seal joke here.
I'm so glad you watched this. I'm dying to know what you think of this 3-hour Bollywood action
I feel like
epic.
if you just edited this down to like an hour and 15 minutes, it could be like Roadhouse.
Almost.
Without boobs. And you edit in boobs, then it could be like it could be a Roadhouse. Look, it is like Roadhouse, and it's got, I don't know why I'm talking about Roadhouse, but it's a bromance.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
It's definitely a bromance. Story is some of the worst writing I've ever seen. Terrible.
That's better though.
Great dance numbers. I think those were good. The sheer scale and cinematic quality of what they were doing was very well done. Yeah. I a lot of extras, a lot of sets, a lot of like grandiose camera movements and this and that. Very epic. The action sequences were like not that original until like one particular part.
Yeah, describe this to Anthony, that one part, because
it was my favorite,
ridiculously over the top.
Like I've seen it all, right? I've seen every kind of action bullshit you've seen, and it's very rare when I see something that I know has happened in a kung fu movie at least 4 times,
right?
But the way it's done here made me laugh so fucking hard, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm watching this! This is insane."
Describe the scene real quick.
All right, so one of the guys gets captured and he gets put in prison, and they beat the shit out of him and break his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to get sprung out by his buddies coming to get him, and so, but. The thing is, since they broke his legs, he's been working out on his arms, so his arms are like really strong. So what the guy does is he puts them like on his shoulders like a chicken fight, you know?
You know how you sit on someone's shoulders?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they basically
there's a whole
they beat the shit out of everybody.
On his shoulders?
Yes, he's running around,
how is that
flipping
possible?
off things. The physics does not make any sense.
Anthony, it's not possible.
It's so great.
And it's so stupid,
It's so great.
but it's so funny at the same time and just enjoyable. Like they were just like, it was to me that was the most Roadhouse thing about this fucking movie. It was like, remember Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah.
Stephen Chow? How like over the top crazy and like, oh my God, what the fuck am I watching type movie? This is the same thing. It's just a Bollywood movie version of
and
it.
that,
Was it
you know,
Tollywood? What's Tollywood? What's the difference?
Telugu. I think it came out in Tamil and Telugu originally.
Oh yeah. So one of the biggest things I had about this is like, why are they dubbing over the regular language?
Because I didn't think more people speak like Urdu and Hindi. I understood everything. This was like
no, but even in if you're watching it subtitled, the
English is dubbed too.
No, it's not the English. If you're watching it in its original language with subtitles, they look like the ADR, the whole thing. Like nothing was matching.
Well, it's like it's available in a bunch of different languages. So I don't know. It's something with like Hindi and
like I was
Tamil
trying to
different.
find on Netflix like the original language where it would match up, but they never did.
Yeah.
There was one where like I would say 70% of it lined up, but then every once in a while you'd see them go, "Oh, that's not the word that they said." So I just thought that was very strange. But other than that, it's a little long. It's 3 hours long. It doesn't need to be.
But you can break it up. It's broken up into chapters, right? You can watch a chapter.
Yeah,
and go
it
to the
doesn't
next
need to be 3 hours long, and yeah.
You know what I appreciated?
They made this.
I appreciated that there weren't too many song and dance numbers. There's only a few, and when they do them, it's for purpose. But there's a scene where one of the dudes is being flogged like Jesus in the public square, and he's bleeding. He's being whipped by this chain with spikes, and he starts singing a song about being flogged and depressed. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But dude, Anthony, in the beginning, so it takes place in colonial India when the British are still ruling, right? And it starts out at this little police post that's holding an activist, and they're surrounded by thousands of people behind this barbed wire fence, just like wanting to get in, shaking the fence. Someone throws a rock at one of the officers, and the head officer is like, "Bring me that man." Like, this man in the middle of thousands. None of the people move. The one dude steps forward, he puts his hat down, he pulls out his nightstick, he proceeds to run, jumping off oil barrels and leaping over the barbed wire in a single bound. He fights his way through a crowd of 1,000 people up and down a hill, grabs this guy, drags him back, fighting through the same crowd of 1,000 people. He throws him in front of the captain, and he goes right back in line. He's all bloody, puts his hat on, back at attention. You're like, this fucking dude is a badass motherfucker. It's such a great opening scene. And so the movie is full of things like this.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's some of the stuff that they want you to, like, it's one of those things that every once in a while they want you to buy something, but you don't buy it. And then that was one of those scenes. But then when they do the fucking chicken man thing, there's no way you can buy it. So you just have to have fun with it.
All the animals are
It's one of those
CGI, and some were bad, some were whatever. But There's a lot of animals, and none of them are real. So, I mean, it gets it's impressive on a number of fronts.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a fucking.
I enjoyed it, but I just thought it was long.
It should be Oscar nominated, Best Picture.
I don't know about that. I do not agree with that.
No, one of the songs won a Golden Globe actually at the Globes. I don't know which song.
Like, I think you can watch the Chicken Man scene, and then you never have to watch.
Yeah, you could just fast forward and watch the action scenes because there's some like you want to talk contrived,
Like, what do you think is good? What do you think is good about the movie, other than the fact that there's a Chicken Man scene?
Dude, I love the chemistry between the two dudes and the way their story kind of turned and what was going on.
But their story is based on, like, if you were really friends with someone, you'd know things about them.
He's whatever.
They just hang out and never talk about anything personal.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck they're about? Like, no, they're just the best friends.
Yeah. But I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know that Imran's going to be an ardent defender of this.
It's fucking
plethora of reasons.
Because the writing is terrible, Anthony. Like, there is a movie called.
It's fantastic.
There's two movies that tell the same story better. The first one is The Departed. And then the one that even does it even better than The Departed is Infernal Affairs, which is a Hong Kong film with Andy Lau. It's 10 times better. The same story about people being undercover, doing things for their own, and then not telling their best friends.
Yes, but with singing and dancing and terrific slow-mo spears through fire and fucking CGI tigers and a guy on a guy's shoulders flipping and doing shit he shouldn't be able to do.
Right.
It's worth it. Worth it. I watched, I finally got around to watching The Northman. It is on.
Oh, that's a fucking crazy ass
on
movie.
Amazon. Yes, it is. This is a wild fucking movie by Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers.
Okay.
Who did The Lighthouse. He doesn't do a lot of movies.
Oh, this is a weird movie, right?
Very unique style, but wow.
Fucking loved it.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It is epic. Anthony, it presents itself as the old story of there's a king, king's brother slays him, takes the queen for his own wife in
Hamlet, basically.
Viking times. The young son escapes, presumed dead, takes 20 years to get jacked up to come back, revenge his dad, save his mom. But then there's a twist.
Isn't that the story to Conan the Barbarian?
It's like every story is based on this story.
There is a twist in this, and things get crazy.
Don't spoil it. I might watch it one day.
There's hints of magic, but dude, the lighting in this whole movie is intense because it's like 900 AD in Iceland.
It's like he's on mushrooms the whole time.
They're doing shrooms. He's out howling with the wolves. There's 3 sources of light in this movie: sunlight, moonlight, and fire. Because that's all they had. So you have some dramatic the lighting is incredible. Dramatic shadows when they're inside.
It's super violent.
Alex Skarsgård is fucking badass. And there's a good final battle scene. It is very good. It's also a long movie, but I was like, whoa, it's like trippy.
It's a little long. It's a little long.
Yeah.
It's a little bit inaccessible at times because it does this weird shit. But it's not an action movie.
But there is action in it. It's kind of an action movie. Kind of.
There's a couple of action scenes.
It's historical fantasy. Anthony, you were saying last week how they don't make movies like this anymore. Historical epics. This is one of those movies about Vikings in 900 AD in Iceland.
Yeah, this is my shit.
It's like a Braveheart or something, but just darker and weirder. Yeah, it's very good. I would recommend. It's on Amazon Prime. Check it out. All right, that's it for us then. Ruggs, where can the listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy. So come by, say hello, follow me. You can poke my butthole a little bit.
Oh, you can poke the slack hole. See, it's a lot of fun over there. Link of his Twitter in our show description. Visit the website for how to connect, how to support everything we talked about. Most important thing, listener, tell a friend, spread the geekery. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Stock up on Gold Bond and avoid the bubble epidemic.
Fuck that show.
I really don't give a shit.